Oh, hey there. I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'm just kidding. This is Respect the Roast. Today, we have a really cool thing we're going to do with you, alright? And what this came from, and maybe you've heard it, was sort of this discussion or argument even about, hey, if I take coffee from an urn before it's finished brewing completely, do I ruin the coffee or is it okay, right? Some of us say, don't worry about it, take it. The guy's waiting on his coffee, oh, it's peak, you got times, just pull the coffee. Other people say, no, you'll ruin the whole batch. What was the truth? Well, after speaking to several people, talking to a facilities guy who says, hey, that ruins the batch, we decided, you know what? Let's do an experiment. Let's do a little sample test, right? And we'll find out. So, that's exactly what we're going to do, alright? This is how we do it. On the right here, all you got to do is brew a batch of pike just as you would brew it, right? Don't touch it, don't tamper with it, let it brew completely so you know it is exactly how pike should be, right? This is our control, in other words. Over here on the left, we have a pike we brewed, but here's the difference. In the very beginning, we took a sample. In the middle, we took a sample. At the very end, we took another sample. And the last cup here, and we'll set it off, is the pike. This is the control. This is what we're tasting it against. This is the perfect profile. This is what we're not sure about, okay? Alright. When you've done that, get ready. Get your partners. This is a fun tasting. Now, we're just going to taste through it. But if you were going to do it with partners, consider maybe writing on the bottoms of the cups the identities, alright, when you brewed, when you poured from it, and then mix them around and see if they can get it that way, right? It's kind of fun. Otherwise, just taste through. So, we're going to start from the beginning here. This was just off the board, right? It was just trickling in. Super bitter. Who knew, right? Super concentrated. It's almost like all the coffee flavor just sort of goes into the first bit of the batch, and that's what we're tasting right there. It's just really abrasive on your palate. Here's the middle. It's definitely, it's so much different from this one. It's not bitter, but it's not really strong. It almost loses body in the coffee. It's kind of watered down. It's kind of weird. All right, going down to the end. This is the very end. This same thing. These two are similar. This one's completely different. These two are similar. Again, it's just a little more watered down. And then against our control, right? This is how we know pike should taste. Okay. Closer to these two, not at all like this one, but this is that sort of roasty profile, that medium body, light acidity that we know and love. Kind of asking for some cream, that great house coffee, our pike. Now, another thing to do, take 4-ounce little sample cups. Pour a little bit in each of them, and I tell you what, besides the flavor, I think you're going to notice the color differences of the coffee, of the samples versus our regular pike, and it's really cool to see. So basically what we learned here, pulling early from your coffee while it's brewing, it does in fact not just mess up the coffee, kind of ruins it, right? Because God forbid you give the first cup to somebody and they're tasting the thing, and this is not like pike I've had before, this is a little weird. And then, you know, later on they get another cup and it's like, well, that tastes completely different. Now they're going to another Starbucks and the same thing happens. They try a cup of coffee and they say, whoa, this is different from over at that location. It's not as good. Well, now we've messed up their Starbucks experience, and you don't want to do that. One, they're probably not going to come back to your store if they get a consistent cup somewhere else. And two, right, you want them to have the best experience they can have at your store, at Starbucks in general. So I say, stop pulling that coffee from the very beginning. It's not worth it. It's 5 minutes. A customer, I promise you, will rather have a great cup of coffee than a bad cup of coffee soon, right? Than a quick cup of coffee that's not great. So just wait, and if you have to explain it, make it right, but no, this is part of the Starbucks experience, and we're keeping it consistent by doing this. Have fun, try it, and yeah, let us know how it goes, and if you have other ideas for experiments, tell us. We'll see you next time on Respect the Roast.